In the early 1600s, English ships reached the coast of Virginia, their passengers weary from months at sea. Jamestown rose from swamps and timber, followed later by Plymouth in New England. These were the seeds of what would become the United States. Settlers came for many reasons: land, freedom, trade, or religious refuge. Some sought fortune in tobacco fields. Others prayed for the right to worship outside the control of kings and bishops. Life was harsh. Winters froze the unprepared, hunger claimed many, and conflict with indigenous peoples flared as land was taken. Yet slowly, the colonies grew. By the 1700s, 13 colonies lined the Atlantic. Wooden houses stood along cobblestone streets, and markets bustled with goods from across the ocean. Ships carried sugar, rum, and enslaved Africans, binding the colonies into a web of global trade. Colonists built assemblies and town meetings, shaping habits of self-rule even under British authority. Not all voices were equal. Women, indigenous peoples, and Africans, free or enslaved, were excluded from power. Yet ordinary farmers and craftsmen found ways to influence local life, planting the seeds of democratic practice. The settlers were not united. Puritans in Massachusetts lived differently than planters in Virginia, but together they forged a society distinct from the Europe they had left. The European settlers laid down towns, laws, and economies that shaped America's foundation. But they did not build alone. Indigenous guidance and African labor were woven into every stone and harvest. Still, it was these settlers who began to see themselves as something new. Not just Englishmen abroad, but colonists who one day would demand a nation of their own.